It takes a fool to lose twice and start all over again. I think I better let it go. Let it go, baby. Hey, some people play the fool, some people are the victim. And the victim mentality is a thing. When it comes down to it, there are so many people that go through this process on trying to be like, why me? And it's to the degree that they know it's them. You know, I'm step away from the money aspect, just focus more on the mental health side of things because the crazy part is a lot of people bring stuff on themselves. They act like they don't know where it's coming from. No discipline amongst their things, but they're easy to cater to influence other situations, I should say, you know, and then step back and yell, why me? Blame the victim. The victim mentality only gets people so far because what is your real intent? Most times, the people who are the victims, um, they actually go through horrible, situations or, put themselves in bad situations, not on purpose, sometimes by accident. But the ones that play the victim, they insert themselves into situations and then yell, why me? These are the people, you know, when you get those memes of emotional damage, those are those people. You know, the ones that put themselves in situations and then act like they don't know what's going on. You know, to a degree, there are some women who, play guys for money, and the guy play them. They just think it's so horrible wrong that a guy would do this to a female. How could he? That's wrong. But she played the game, but he played it better. There are some instances where the man gets played. It's vice versa all the time. Tamika Davis in the building. What's going on, Tamika? So it comes a point where a lot of times people who play this whole victim mentality, like the Joker said, well, it's not the Joker, it's the Batman. Batman said, you live long enough, you become the villain. Stacy, what's going on? Stay, what's going on with you? And a lot of times we have issue with this role because, you know, a lot of people do insert themselves in situations. A lot of people play the victim when they put themselves in situations like, why me? Why not you? You know, you're implementing yourself in a situation regarding a family member that doesn't concern you, but you just had to put your 2 cents in. And when you put your 2 cents in, it's not being represented the way you want it to be. So you have an issue with it. But when it comes down to it, that is the issue that you created for yourself. And now, like I say, once again, the victim mentality kicks in. Why me? Also, coming into a frame, you know, a lot of time this victim mentality comes from a lot of times of once again back to creating this whole issue. Nothing to do with you. This situation doesn't concern you, but you make it a issue for you. You make it a situation that needs to be concerning you. You make it a situation that you implementing or even putting your 2 cent in, you know. And a lot of times, this emotion triggers it's because of a control. I started to name this the emotional damage or control because most people when they get into their feelings about a situation, they try to insert themselves. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of genders and, alternative lifestyles, but when I talk to most of the people or just hear them out, because this is the biggest thing, a lot of those people want to be heard, more or less, just living their life. I wouldn't care less if I walked around said I was an apple and people believe me a lot. I mean, I'm sorry, people believe me or not. I am an apple. That's what I truly believe I am. So that's the way I'm going to live. And it's up to you. Crafty Leo, what's going on with you? But it's up to you actually to conform yourself literally. It's weird. Flawless mentality in the building. What's going on, Dr. Mark? And it's a whole issue with it. You know, the whole gender, the alternative lifestyle. My preference is this. You live your life the way you want to live your life. Why conform to other people, forcing them to call you a certain pronoun, to just live your life to the fullest? And that's where a lot of people, get misconstrued, you know. And I've said this amongst my family and friends, and I told them anything that doesn't affect me directly, it's not harming me, you know. And when it comes down to it, more or less, the respect is more hindered than anything. When there's no respect involved, that's when I have a problem. You know, any type of lifestyle, any type of living, any type of agenda, it's all about respect. There's boundaries amongst every situation. And a lot of times, a lot of people will cross those boundaries and what? Play the victim. They're literally playing the victim due to the fact that, you know, it's a cause that they want to fight for. It's something that they want to put themselves in, like I said, inserting themselves into a situation and yelling, why me? Yelling, why me? But the issue still remains, you're putting yourself in the fire and asking, why am I getting burnt? And I never understand that with a lot of people, you know, even to the point of, like I say, this whole victim mentality, but you're creating something and then yelling, why me? To the point, never really too much understanding. It affects most people a different way. And like I said, that's the whole reason why I was coming at this point of having any emotional damage, or is it control? You know, because having an understanding, the way you move, the way you represent yourself, that's all for you. It's determined by everybody has their own opinion of things and situations. You can give $10,000 to multiple people, and out of those 10,000, let's say 5,000 will all spend the money and buy clothes, or all 10,000 will spend the money, and let's just go it down, narrow it even farther down, because clothes are real broad. You can buy Louis, Gucci, um, what is these celebrities? Mary Kate and Ashley, the Rachel Ray or whatever brand. So there's lots of those. Let's narrow it down to just this one car company. Let's say everybody goes and get a BMW, but then you have a lot of BMWs to choose from. Let's everybody get a BMW. Queen is in the building. Everybody get a BMW X5. Let's narrow it down pretty much close to that. Let's say half of those people, you give them $10,000, 10,000 people, and they go and let's say get an X5. Whether they're paying it off cash, or they're putting it down payment on it to get a bigger car to lower their rate, or whatever. How they're gonna do this? Everybody's not getting the same color, until the most that do get the same color, they're not getting the same features. They're getting customized wheels. It's predicated on that person. So when it comes down to it, a lot of us are not the same. We don't move the same. Everybody have different thoughts, different opinions. So when it comes down to it, the way you move and how you move is represented different than most. Rael in the building. What's going on with your good brother? Good brother, what's going on with you? So we have issue with the whole thing of being the victim, or is it being the fool? Because like I keep saying, a lot of people are inserting themselves in situations, have an issue with that. A lot of people or wanting to control the outcome of something. So they put their 2 cents in, and like I say, play the victim. And the only reason I thought about doing this because it's something that I was talking to somebody going on personal, and I was explaining to them this person is, jumping in this situation for no reason. They don't have a dog in the fight, but because they feel like family that they should put their 2 cents in. And they feel as if I'll come and be the savior and get brownie points. But like I told them, they're only hindering the other half of this situation that just blatantly just getting in trouble, getting out of hand, you know. And it's an issue when you have an outsider looking in trying to do quality control, because the situation came up that they didn't even know about certain things that were going on and tried to say, well, I didn't know these things. I didn't know that thing. I'm trying to go into detail without going into detail. What's going on? Hey, I seen you over there, Mark, last night. Mark Nash, man. Hey, Mark has always been 100, man. I hated that I can't stay up as late as I used to catch him and a couple of other shows I watch at night because I have to get up early and I'm have to moving around. But it's one thing that I could always go hit that replay. Mark Nash, great channel, man. Watch that guy, great content. But as it stand, like I said, playing the victim, you know, even to the point of, situations that doesn't concern you, like I keep going into. People are inserting themselves in these situations and feeling like someone's coming down on them. This is something that you shouldn't have been in the first place. You made yourself be available, so it's only wrong if someone comes at you. No, you know, um, prime example, me and my wife, we always talk, and I always tell my wife when we have situations talking about things, and sometimes she'll say I'm too extreme, you know, and I tell her, I said, if a person slaps me and I shoot them, you can't tell me how to react to you, and that's most situations with people who cry wolf. April Showers in the building, morning to you. So it comes a point, like I said, you can't tell people how to react to you. You can't tell people how to accept you. There's a lot of situations where so many people think they have control. You know, prime example at jobs. A lot of jobs will tend to tell you, "Oh, if you don't do this, there will be consequences involved with this." I had several jobs try that with me, and it posed a bad outcome. You know, primarily one job I had, and I literally got this job on a whim because I was working a job that was paying cash, and my thing was I want to go ahead and still put into my social security. So I'll continue working this side job, getting cash, but then I can also have a full-time job, contributing to social security, contributing to more or less my society, things of that nature is the talk. But when it came down to it, there's companies that think that, man, you need us. You need this job. Well, the job market isn't the way it used to be. And the biggest thing with me is being a driver. Like I tell most that I can quit on the fly, go find another job. I have a good track record. It's not like I'm a bad employee. You know, no matter what the other companies say, well, he was this way, he was that way. And the only rule of thumb is, hey, if I was such a bad employee, why they never fired me? You know, I'm gonna give a little prime example right now at my job. So going into the new year, they was meeting quota, and you know it is what it is. Sometimes I miss freight. It happens. You know, I deliver freight. So, occasionally I might miss something small, a box or two, or a bag of peanuts or something that needs to be delivered. And that's the shipping peanuts, because I drop off at warehouses. So I'm using shipping peanuts, bubble wrap. So the occasional, those things get missing. And, the guy was kind of coming at me as far as my side job that I have within the job. It's funny that I'm explaining this to you guys, where I make money selling pallets on the side for my job. Everything gets shipped on a pallet going into a warehouse. When the people don't want those pallets, they try to return them back to the company because it's hard for them to get rid of. So I then take the pallets and I sell them, to a pallet yard, which give me money for them. So that's my business within the business. And so the guy was complaining to me more or less about me having an issue with my freight being left and things of that nature because I'm doing the pallets. And I laughed at him. I said, well, if I'm missing one piece out of 10 or 12, it's just a simple mistake. Things happen. I say, nobody's perfect. Even you guys at this job, you know. And I kind of hit below the belt when I told him, I said, most of your trucks break down. I mean, you could do better with the trucks. I'm kind of like that. And technically speaking, my job I always, well, the manager in the warehouse always called me weird because the way I talk to him. Because one day I came in and he told me as long as I come in before 10, I'm okay. So I went and got a side job doing things in the morning before I come in at 10, and he was expressing to me, well, you coming in too late, and I don't know if the freight's getting out. I said, well, the key's right there. If you don't think I'm gonna make it, then you used to be a driver. And he was like, watch your tone. And I'm like, watch what? And he looked at me and just kind of walked away. And then when we had a conversation later that day, he was like, you just kind of talk to me any kind of way. I said, no, I don't talk to you any kind of way. We actually talk like men. If there's a problem, we address it, right? And that's the thing. Most people never really talk to their managers like that or talk. So coming from that standpoint, I'm not playing the victim. He came to me as the victim and I set him right. Just because I work for this company, that doesn't mean you own me, and it's to the extent to where I can easily go get another job just like you can fire me and try to find another employee. So that victim mentality really doesn't too much work with me in most cases because I tend to let people talk or I tend to see a flaw and expose that flaw till you give in and have an understanding that hey, this is not gonna work for this guy. But more or less, like I said, going into different situations, there's different results. Having a victim mentality, crying wolf all the time, most people it might work. Most people you can get over on. You can make them change their outcome or their thoughts of things that they wanted to do or thinking about doing. In most cases, it work with most people. Like I say, tender with me, not so much because when it comes down to me, it's more proof when you're showing results. You know, pay speaks. I convinced them to give me a raise according to my work ethics, and that I will, position myself to do more work. And it's funny I'm talking about this because I had a crazy dream about this last night. It's just funny I'm talking about this because I'm gonna get off of here because it's getting too weird. But basically, I had a dream that my job tried to, run some type of flim flam on me and everything, and I end up putting them people in their life. I called a labor board and then just, nudged something and talked about it. And then it came out that nothing was really too much wrong. They was, snatching some people money, but at the same time, it was just funny how like all this stuff is not rolling in a place like this. I'm like, Is my dream actually gonna come true, or what's going on? And that's why I say I need to get off it because I am petty. So when it comes down to it, it was a situation that I was talking about my wife earlier about my job, and like I said, it's just some petty stuff that I always have an exit plan and a strategy for most things, and that's the thing of always thinking 10 steps ahead, 5 steps ahead, or whatever people say, but more or less not being played as the victim. That's more or less what I'm talking about. And in most cases, that's where you look at people, the victim role, victim mentality, they get into a situation to where they're changing people's mindset. You will literally have someone say you can't go outside as a kid, and that kid poses that threat to say, well, mom, if I can't go outside, how can I get my exercise? You wanted me to lose this weight, and oh, you're right, son. Going to go outside. Playing the victim when it's convenient. Yep, sorry about that. One of the kids called me. Breeze, what's going on? Omega's in the house. But like I say, man, it's real simple for people to play the victim. Real simple for people to play the victim. Real simple. But it comes to a point in which who are they going to play this role over? They go after a lot of people, not just weak individuals. You know, it's to a point where they take advantage of people because you use this victim mentality to get over people in their mindset. People are kind-hearted. People who, you know, literally, yeah, sorry about that, kids, kids, kids.